Hello to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5 a.m. Club. I just thought I'd deliver another 5 a.m. Club. I'm on the path to getting to 1,000 vlogs, but I need to deliver at least 5 a day in order to make it to my goal. And I've done three for today, so this is my fourth, so I'm on track. So what we'll do is we'll go through and do a book summary on a book entitled How Will You Manage, or How Will You Measure Your Life? How will you measure your life? It's a book summary, and the author is Clayton Christensen. Clayton Christensen wrote a wonderful book on how will you measure your life. So what have we got to learn today? Just let me get down this path here. I'll get down to this waterway, and it's just coming on dusk at the moment, and it's quiet. Hasn't rained for a while, so the water down here is not running, so it's not as beautiful as what it's been in the past. So I might actually go for a walk and talk, which is probably preferable. So the author kicks off his book with a wonderful quote, and the quote is, "It's easier to hold your principles 100% of the time than to hold them 98% of the time." It's pretty profound, that. It's pretty profound. So what he's basically saying is that if you don't stick to things, if you don't maintain things and hold them as you value them, then chances are you may be distracted and you may lose everything. So it's easier to hold your principles 100% of the time than 98% of the time, because what the author is suggesting is that if you do get distracted, as I mentioned before, then that will lead you along a road where one thing leads to another, and before you know it, you've lost yourself and you're off track. So the author then says something else here which I really like, and we all need to hear this message. And the message is that you need to trust the process and invest the time, because if you're dilly-dallying, if you're experimenting, if you're dabbling in different things, then you're not going to be as successful. You need to stick to things. You need to make yourself a plan. You need to get on a path, and you need to stick to that path for as long as you can and believe in the process. The important thing is to believe in the process. And the same thing can be said about education. The same thing can be said about your faith, your religion, your relationships, your work, you name it. You need to believe in love. You need to believe in what you're doing, because it's only through that belief that you can stick to it for long enough to be able to see the results, because the results are further down that path. You can't see the results, just like I can't see where that path leads. Yes, there may be a signboard every now and then. Yes, I can see the ground and I can see that people have been there before, but I can't really see the outcome. So that's why I need to be able to believe and trust in the process. And the first formal point to come out of this book from this author is where the author says and reminds us that relationships constantly require your attention, even when it doesn't seem like it. So what he's saying there is that don't take your partner, don't take your friends, Don't take your relatives, don't take anybody for granted. Because what may happen is you get up one day and they're gone. Christmas comes around and there's nobody to celebrate it with. So relationships require your attention, and they constantly need your attention, your nurturing, your love. Because as an accountant of mine many years ago said, people don't leave their accountant because they're a bad accountant. They leave their accountant because they feel as if they're taken for granted. They are no longer treated as a unique customer. So you need to pay attention, and you need to nurture your relationships. You need to nurture everything you do, everyone who you have in your life, and keep them bubbling along. And that's a powerful message. The author says that our family, our friends, are our biggest source of happiness. And we all know that. Our friends and family, or should I say our family first and our friends, our family first, are our biggest source of happiness. If you don't maintain your family, if you don't keep that relationship with your wife, with your children, and with your parents, if you don't keep that inner sanctum healthy, then you're going to have problems and challenges across the board. So we need, and the author calls us to action here, we need to prioritize and dedicate time to our family and friends, our single greatest source of joy. So where is this leading? Where it's leading is we've all been here, we've all been sucked in. What we're saying is that the problem that we all face is that we get distracted. Working longer and working harder presents immediate rewards. You work harder, you work longer, you get more money. So the biggest complaint I think that most people have, most partners have, is that they feel neglected because the husband or the wife, doesn't matter, it could be the wife or the husband, spend a lot of time and a lot of energy with their work colleagues, and basically on their computer, focusing on their work. And another valuable point that comes out of this book, which I've never thought of it before, is that your partner, and I'll just read what the author says here, those who have the best relationship with you will never ask for your time. They support you and they don't ask for much. And I can attest to that, My wife Paula never asks for my time because she's always there to support me. But because they never ask for it doesn't mean that they don't need it. I remember years ago when I was a young parent, and I've said this on a previous vlog, there was a friend of my parents who came from Greece. Yorgos Provos is his name. No, it wasn't George Provos, sorry, I got him all mixed up. It was another fellow, and he reminded me, ο θείος μου, ο Panos Vardiniotis, said to me, he says, Jimmy, your oldest child will never ask for a hug and a kiss. It's just in their nature. They expect it, but they'll never ask for it. And what this author here is saying along a similar line is that the people who love you most will never ask for your time because they love you, they respect you. But it doesn't mean that you don't have to prioritize and give them the time. Don't ask. Don't wait for them to ask. Don't wait until they plead with you to give more time. So it's paradoxical, the author says here. You need lots of effort, even though they don't look like it, they need it. So our partners, our family, our friends, all need time, all need attention, even though they're not asking for it. So a powerful lesson. But here's the real crux of this book for all of us to learn something really, really powerful. And I've noted it as a VIP, a very important point. The damage done early cannot be repaired in later years. Just remember, the neglect that you offer your wife, your friends, your children, early in the years, by you working hard, working long hours, traveling, going to meetings, being on the phone, being preoccupied all the time, compounds. It snowballs, slowly but surely. And before you know it, they've become second-rate citizens. They're no longer your priority. And it's a bit like the cats in the cradle, where later on, when you want more time with them, they may not be prepared to give you that time. So it's a big warning for each and every one of us. We need to be, as I say, on notice. All of us need to be on notice, from our children, our grandchildren, our parents, our families, you name it. So the author here says that it's important for us to build intuition and empathy by thinking about your family as being a job. You know, you need to prioritize them, you need to schedule them. And the best question you can ask to improve any relationship is, what job does my partner, my children, whoever X is in terms of your relationships, what job does my ex need me to do the most at this point in time? So if you treat your relationships like as diligently as you treat your job, your career, then you may just have a chance of being able to save it and to have a great relationship and a great lifestyle. Because what the author here does is he flips relationships on the head and he makes them the subject of our lives. Because as we said before, if our family is the source, the greatest source of all of our happiness, why wouldn't they be the priority that we have in our life? Why would we put work ahead of our partners? Why would we put work ahead of our children? We need to be able to find a good balance, but not to get sucked in. Because as I said before, we do get lulled and sucked in, because at work, you work longer hours, they give you a pat on the back and they tell you how good you are. But if you do good work at home as a parent, you won't get any feedback. It's just the way it is, because love doesn't need feedback. But in today's world, what the author is saying is that because we've become accustomed to the feedback that we get at work and we thirst for it, because we don't get that feedback at home, distracts us, takes us off course. So we need to make sure that we enable our relationships with our partners, our children, our parents, our grandparents, our relatives, and our friends to flourish. And that needs effort, that needs time, and it needs priority. Pick up the phone, make a call. I'm thinking about you. Send a message, write a card, write a letter. I'm talking about this stuff. I don't do it. All right, I'll be the first to put up my hand and say that I'm guilty, that my long-suffering wife, Paula, has always taken a back seat to my career, my dreams, my aspirations, and deeply ashamed of that now, looking back over time. But I've got to say I'm lucky that we're still together, and she still trusts and believes in me, I hope. But as I said, I mustn't take it for granted, and we all need to do a little bit more. And we need to, as the author says, to avoid the trap of marginal thinking. And we also need to maintain not only a powerful relationship with our family and our friends, but also with ourselves, according to the author here, because integrity is the key. As the author alluded to early in the piece, you need to keep your principles in place 100% of the time. So we all have a level of integrity. We know what's right and what's wrong. We've been taught what's right and what's wrong, but we need to be able to stick to it throughout our lives. And to also, we need to, I guess, understand what marginal thinking is, but not to engage in it. And marginal thinking is where you can say, well, where you can rationalize, look, I'll do this because I've got this to gain. So there's an opportunity to gain something, but it's only marginal. Sometimes those marginal gains, as I said before, lead you to a place where you can't recover from. You know, the damage that is done in those early years, and I've seen it time and time again. You know, you get to the point where your partner hates your guts, and there are lots of families who are like that. They get married and they're in love. Now, we all start from the same place. We're in love, we cherish our partners, we've got all these wonderful dreams, and then all of a sudden, xekineria, as my mother used to say, where you start falling out of love because people don't do this, don't do that, don't live up to the dream, don't live up to the talk, the hype. And we start getting loose. We start getting loose with our morals. We start getting loose with our values, with our choices. And one thing leads to another. And before you know it, you've got all these first, second, and third level consequences that you need to deal with. And that masterpiece that you were trying to create, which consisted of your family life, your work life, your spiritual life, your physical health, all of those things get compromised because we were distracted, because we didn't make it our highest priority. So the lesson from this book is very, very simple. You get one chance to get it right, and I've said this all along. You get one chance. You get one chance at love. You get one chance to get it right. So you've got to make the right decision in the first place. But once you make that decision, you've got to stick to it, and you've got to prioritize it, and you've got to make it your masterpiece and stick to it. And many years ago, I made myself a promise that all I wanted in life was to be loved and to love just one person. Just one person. I didn't want to be distracted by lots of different people and lots of loves and lots of passions and lots of things to chase. I just wanted to end my life where I exhale my last breath and say, at least I was able to love and be loved by one person. It's a big challenge. And many of us will not be able to achieve that in our lifetimes because of the challenges that we all face, the temptations, the challenges, and all of the things that happen. Life just gets in the way. So I think I'll finish off there. So let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I'm well, I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, stay reasonable, and most importantly, let's learn some lessons from this book, this wonderful book. We're looking at the title, sorry. I never thought that How to Measure Your Life by Clayton Christensen would be able to provide such a deep and a profound message for not only me, but for all my friends and family. So I'm sure that you'll get something out of this. It is a serious topic, but it's a wake-up call. Just let me grab you by the shirt or the blouse and just shake you about and tell you how important it is to prioritize your family and the people in your life who give you the total source of your joy. Your wife, your children, your parents, and not to let them down. Because by letting them down, they're not going to be asking, as we said before, they're not going to be asking for the hugs and kisses and the time and the support and the focus, but you need to make it a job. You need to make it your job to give them the time, the priority, the love that they deserve, so that you can keep them bubbling along, keep them in your life, keep them knowing that they mean something to you, and that they're loved and cherished. So I think I'll leave it there. So thank you very much. If you're lucky, from Jim's 5 a.m. club. It's just on dusk now. The sun's going down. I needed to wear these glasses in order to read my notes. So we'll chat again. I'll come to you from a different location with a different message, a message of empowerment. So let's live, learn and pass it on, and let's try wherever we can to share our experiences with the ones that we love, and to be the wind beneath our wings, to be the wave beneath our board, to be the zephyr that billows our sails, and to be the big propeller, the big turbine propeller that churns us and propels us to where we want to go in our lives. Yasas, and we'll chat again. Take care. Kali Magali of the Mother to all my friends and family as well. May God be a big and important part of our lives. And let's not forget that at the end of the day, the most important thing in our lives is to be one with God. And hopefully our partners, our children, our parents can all be part of that salvific journey to help us get to that ultimate destination. Bye for now. Cheers.